introduction while people are joining in, so we'll start about 3-4 minutes late. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the LinkedIn session by Rotaract Club of Achievers Lanka Business School. I was in this club myself at one point, specifically in looking at this whole prospect of career and jobs and this whole mix of how to use tools and whatnot. And well, I know that pressure we've all been under. So this session is particularly designed to see how we can take advantage of LinkedIn. And to be frank about it, LinkedIn is not just a tool where you try to get your job. It's not a tool where you just go and apply on online jobs. And we have an excellent trainer here as well, Gautam. He's a cohort member of mine. I met him in Australia, and he's an amazing person when it comes to LinkedIn. He's really dug the roots out of it. Um, yeah, and through this session, we're going to be exploring the sort of options and opportunities that LinkedIn gives us to sort of leverage their technology to get us a better career prospect. And and one time request is that I would like it if you all can, just put the videos on so we see a few more faces, get a bit interactive. And this is going to be more of a workshop. So like, we'd love to have some questions. Anyways, yeah, I'll leave the rest to Gautam. He'll be jumping in.
Okay, thanks Naveen. Thanks for the setting the scene. Welcome everyone. Glad to be part of Rotaract. I myself was one of the Rotaract club members back in my university, so I do have an association with the Rotaract club. Yeah, so as Naveen mentioned, LinkedIn is big today, and yeah, I mean there are a lot of users, and it's one of the only social networking I use. I've stopped using Facebook. I use it Twitter a bit, but I'm like almost probably if I spend 4 hours on my mobile, it's 3.5 hours, a half hour I probably spend on LinkedIn. Yeah. Asal, can you let me know when you want to go start? We can start then. Once we have enough
Uh,
participants.
Like we're getting at least one every minute coming in.
Yeah, so probably we'll
yeah.
take a couple more minutes, but I'll
Yeah.
leave it
Let's
to you
start
when
in
you
like two
want me to
minutes.
start. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How about if so before we start the session, maybe you guys can tell us what y'all expect out of this and any specific sort of interests y'all have y'all want answered in this session. Maybe we can try to include it if there's some spare time at the end. Any particular uh, questions y'all have regarding LinkedIn?
Yeah, and also like how do you use LinkedIn? What has been your experience? Yeah, feel free to just chip in, introduce yourself, and let's have a chat.
Oh, and please don't be shy, guys. Just to put up. Not even need to put the video. Just unmute and start talking if y'all have anything. Worst case, I'm
Asal, I think I have to pick you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, why I felt it's important is especially because I'm from like an IT background where it's something like in the IT field, it's a lot like LinkedIn is something you can't do without almost.
Mm.
Like that's how they headhunt you. That's how they yeah. So because of that, like I guess since like I think it's a good trend also. They've gone beyond like the conventional trends of like hiring
Mm.
people through like new
Mm.
like yeah the conventional methods, and they've started on this because of it you also need to adapt kind of thing.
Mm.
So yeah.
Cool. That's great. Yeah. So how much time?
Yeah. Sorry. What?
How much time do you spend on LinkedIn?
Not so much. I think I
Not
just
so much.
updated yesterday since because of this workshop.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Cool. Yeah. So does anyone wants to pitch in?
I think I can always.
I mean, if you know someone, pick them up.
Yeah. So I think we can get a perspective of people working as well. So I think Hasita is here. Hasita, tell us how much you use
Mm,
LinkedIn, and like you're in a work, you're in a job right now. To what extent do you use LinkedIn? I think is he there?
uh, Asita?
Maybe muted and gone. Is it somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I think he's gone somewhere. I think.
Okay.
I think we can start now. Are you expecting any more, Asel? Have you have been working more?
Yeah, there's a few lot like registered, but no, we can start now. It's fine.
Yeah, very good. Almost completed. Cool. Yeah.
Good to go, Naveen.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, guys. Welcome once again. Today, what we would be discussing is, we'll focus more on LinkedIn and a bit less on hidden job market. Once you understand, how to use LinkedIn, we'll probably, do one more session on, how to do networking and how to, tap into that, hidden market, right? So Okay, so there are a few expectations. Feel free to have your LinkedIn account open. Either in your mobile or in your desktop, right? And feel free to chat. Want it more interactive. It's we are all peers here. I'm not no official trainer here. Just trying to share my experience and how I have been using. Right, and then if possible, put your video on and it's a virtual world, but I can't be there and you can't be here, so it's a great place and world is changing this way, so start using it. It's a very safe place to start using Zoom. Okay, so this is what we would be discussing today. What is LinkedIn all about? What's LinkedIn's architecture, and then how employers use it and how you can use it, and then we'll slightly touch upon networking through LinkedIn, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is our team. We were two, I would say, colleagues. We started this Tag Career Skills. We started off, helping people with, MBA applications to start off, and then with jobs, applications, and interviews. And because LinkedIn is a big change, we have also shifted to learn LinkedIn, and this is where we are. Okay, so quickly about LinkedIn. This should be more than LinkedIn has like 660 million users, more than two. Yeah, it's there everywhere, and this the demographics on the gender: 43% females use it, say 57% males use it, and then 15% of them are in the senior levels, like CEOs, or senior executives, vice presidents, those kind of people who are there, so it's a great way to reach out to them as well and know what they are doing. Now, coming specifically to Sri Lanka, we have around 11 lakh people users in Sri Lanka as of October 19, and most people are in the age 25 to 34, right? So that's probably you people, people who are fresh working, probably around less than 10 years work experience. Those are the people who are mostly using, and this is close to around 6% of Sri Lankan's population. So that's a big number, right? Considering the working age, probably would be around 50%. 6% of them are there, and today most people are in IT, and IT people, most of them do use LinkedIn. Okay, so the mission of LinkedIn is to connect world's professionals to make them more productive and successful, right? It's simple and straightforward, right? It wants to collect professionals. It's not like Facebook or Twitter, but it wants to make you productive and connect with professionals. So there are four things what LinkedIn does. One thing is, like I would say 4 products. It's also, I mean, what we use is just the platform that is free, and we use it to connect to people and to employers. But LinkedIn offers different products to different people, right? One is the recruiters platform, right? Recruiters can have a special LinkedIn where they get to actually filter candidates, look for a lot of profile. I mean, I would say stock a lot of profiles, but yeah, it's a platform. So you become a user then, right? It's you are the product, and recruiters can use it, right? And that's why you should have a great profile, right? Because recruiters are there watching out. And then second is to market, like a lot of companies do marketing ads, promote their products, because LinkedIn is one of the biggest B2B platform, business to business selling platform, right? It's not, it's like, I wouldn't say like Amazon, but the way, let's say for example you're using Microsoft Office. If an organization wants to buy Microsoft Office, it deals with directly Microsoft. So those kind of marketing can be done on LinkedIn. And also to sell, there are, sales people use this Sales Navigator platform on LinkedIn, which is again a premium version. You got to pay them. And the final thing is LinkedIn Learning. You have a lot of online courses which you can do, and that the certificate automatically comes to your profile. You can showcase it. I wouldn't say it's a great way, but it's a good start to do some online courses if you have time. But it isn't something you should be doing, or I have a different opinion on online courses. But yeah.
I think that's the sort of mentality we should eliminate on this LinkedIn facets. Yeah, the fact that we always have this preconception that it's just for jobs, and as I was talking earlier as well, it isn't just for jobs. It isn't just for your branding. It's for much more. And I guess we'll see most of that when we go through this presentation today.
Yeah. So next, moving on to LinkedIn architecture, this I will talk from an user's perspective, like you and me, right? First thing is you have a profile, and it has a lot of things to fill out: your work experience, you have a job designation title, you can write your small summary. Yeah, so if you have done all those stuff correct, you will get an all-star profile. And if you have all-star profile, when recruiters are actually searching, like let's say they are looking for an IT developer, when they use the search option and type IT developer, the all-star profiles actually come first, right? So that's why you should have a, it's like an online resume nowadays. So you need to have an amazing LinkedIn profile. You have a private dashboard. It will show us how many times you have appeared on the search results and how many people are actually able to watch you, right? And then you can like and comment and post updates. I'll talk about commenting and posting updates a little later. And then the other option is networking. You can add, like you add Facebook friends, but it's more in a professional way. And when you talk about adding people, you need to have a connection criteria, right? For example, what do I mean by connection criteria is, let's say you are a finance person. You want to have a network where most of your connections are from finance background. That's when you would know what's happening in that industry, and you will get your news feed based on your network, right? For example, let's say you are a finance professional and you have a lot of friends who are doing manufacturing. It doesn't make sense, right? You do not want to be learning about manufacturing. Your value addition or the value you get would be in that network where you have a lot of finance people. So don't add random people. I mean, if you are from the same school or same college, that's a different story. But you need not add random people. It's there is no race to have more friends like Facebook, right? I know we are a generation when we started social networking. It's either probably we would have started with Orkut, but you guys would have started with Facebook. So it's not, you always have that race, right? Randomly send connection requests to everyone. You want to have 1,000 friends first, but that's not the aim here. It's like having those valuable connections who can add value to you and you can add value to them, right? And always personalize invite, right? It's not just that you saw all finance profiles and you're like connecting. That's not the way. Try to personalize it. We will do an exercise on how to personalize it towards the end of the session. And then news feeds, yes, you can follow companies, you can follow industry leaders. You can actually start to understand what's the culture of a company from the news feeds, right? From the type of posts they would do, right? And also there are groups like finance people will have a finance group, like fast consumer goods industry will have a group. You can join that. Yeah. So and then when you are seeing your news feed, you want to get news that are relevant to your career. So you can improve it. When you open LinkedIn, there is above every post there is a small option settings where you can say you want to receive this kind of information or not. So yeah, it's again the same idea, right? You do not want to be there's so much content on LinkedIn and on internet. You do not want to get lost. Like it's like watching a YouTube video. You start with something and you end up with somewhere else, right? Because of the recommendations, and you waste a lot of time. You do not want to be doing that, right? You want to read, let's say you are in mining industry, you want to know about mining. You are in tourism industry, you want to know about tourism only. That's when you grow. And then opportunities, you can let recruiters know that you're open. It's there in the profile page where you can say you're looking for roles. You can do a lot of career research, right? You can see, let's say you want to be the CEO of Unilever. Okay, you can see what is his career path. How has he grown? Did he start as a finance professional and then became CEO, or did he start as a marketing professional and become a CEO, right? So those are the kind of career research you can do. And then obviously job search. One thing is you can look for jobs that are already posted. And the other way to get to know is, a lot of people actually make a post on LinkedIn saying, I'm looking for this kind of a profile, and reach out to me. That's a great way to reach out, right? Yeah, I mean, so do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, just regarding the whole personalizing invites,
Yes.
and also that I noticed a huge difference in my, I guess, the accept rate and people reaching
Mm,
out. Like when you
right,
personalize invite specifically, just express genuine, authentic interest in their life. Like
right,
tell,
right.
look at their profile, see if something strikes up, see if something the company they work with is examples something like MAS, and you want to work there. You can ask them. I'm interested in applying after finishing my degree or finishing my this current job, and I just want to know about the culture. I want to know about the experiences. So this personalized invites really make an impact, and it shows that they are messaging them to connect rather than looking for a job.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, you touched on a very important point, right? Uh, I mean, recently I got a call from one of my father's friend, whose daughter was is studying here, right? And the uncle called me and I said, hi, hello. He told he will share my number with her. And the moment I started talking to her, probably one line she asked, how are you? And that's fine. And the second line she told, I'm looking for part-time jobs. Can you help me? And that put me off, because I never knew you before. And just with, it's not even 30 seconds in the conversation and you're asking me for a job, right? That, it's creepy, right? I mean, you don't feel good about it, right? It's someone like, asking, I wouldn't want to say this, but you can't ask a random friend for help, right? You would ask, I would ask Naveen easily, because I've known him for an year now, and I can, ask him, do you know anyone in your company? Or I can say, can you forward my CV to this guy? You know him. But if I haven't met Naveen, I can't ask him, right? So build your relationship first and then ask for the job. And the beautiful thing is, if you build a relationship, they will offer you help.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So next is, how employers use it. This is probably very important. If we understand what is this, and then we can see how we can use it. So I would probably ask Naveen how your company uses LinkedIn.
I think that's the thing about Zillion, and probably I guess I mean I would say Zillion even doesn't use it to like 70%, but most organizations they don't just use it for looking for potential employees or hiring perspective. I think that's probably like the least concern they use it for.
Mhm.
It's become a platform of professionals, and they use it for like marketing. They try to sell that Zillion brand online. They try to sort of show events that happen at Zillion, how the employee culture is, and they try to build that, promote that brand, Zillion brand to people. And I think to an extent they even use it to like leverage partnerships for sales as well. So LinkedIn is that all-purpose platform, and organizations are going to be looking for people who have really stand out in that whole sea of information.
Yeah, so you touched a lot of points, but I'm going to specifically focus on recruiting because that's of interest. So this is one of my LinkedIn connection who works at AB InBev. It's, you might not have heard this name, but it's the largest liquor company. I hope you're all excited now. So he says, they do it for current talent search and also the future talent. And yeah, they have the premium account where he said he can send an email to the right candidate for the job even without sending a connection request, right? They have that option, and they build the pipeline. They can create a search list, they can shortlist, people and keep for them to reach out to a later point of time. Okay, so it's like any other recruiting tool probably the recruiting agencies use. That's everything is on LinkedIn for them now. And I have heard personally from a couple of from a couple of recruiters that the moment they hear a candidate's name, they search on LinkedIn, right? They don't even bother seeing the CV or anything, but they just use it to check. It's like a public platform. The thing is with LinkedIn is it's on public, so nobody needs to validate it, right? So if it is on public, your friends are there, your colleagues are there, and they are able to see what's written on your public profile, right? And if something you're putting some dodgy stuff, they're going to check with you, right? So something on public, you generally try to showcase as a legit thing, and which gets the validation. Okay, so nobody has spoken up, but I'm going to force you to speak now. So what we are going to do now is pick a target company of your choice, right? And then you can open their LinkedIn profile page and see. You have to come back and tell me what are the kind of insights you can collect from that, right? Can I hear some S, or someone can comment on the chat?
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Right. Yes,
Yep,
yes,
perfect.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, guys. I'll give you some time, probably 30 seconds or 1 minute, or probably 2 minutes, or you can talk as you search. Yeah, pick your target company and see what you can collect. What are the
Any
information you
you
can
can
collect?
gather, yeah.
Yeah.
And feel free to just turn the video on, have a chat with us. Anything you all want to ask, now's the time.
I'm
When
bored
you're
of talking to Naveen.
when you're talking about the earlier talking about the news feed, it made a huge difference. Like focusing it to your career and your network,
Right,
like
right.
even articles and stuff. Yeah, so that
Yes.
makes a big difference on the amount of information you get out of LinkedIn as well.
I can see someone working at Microsoft.
Lord, who's that?
Guys, yeah, what can you find? What company have you picked up? Just speak up.
I selected John Keels.
Okay.
IT, John Keels IT. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out the culture, how you can get the culture from the LinkedIn page.
Yep.
Okay.
Her culture is based on
Yeah, with the culture, how you can find is see what kind of posts they have made, and also you can see if you search the content on that company page, you can see what people have posted about that company. Like if you have an event in an organization, you would if somebody has made a post on that, that's a good information.
Asel, you were going to say something, please.
No, actually, that was what I was going to ask. Because like based on the post, right, you figure out like what sort of
Yeah.
what the deal is. Really.
Yeah. Anyone else? You want to speak up? What's the company you have chosen?
I know out of this. Is Tisura there? Is he looking at it? No.
Which one?
Tisura, are you there? Are you?
Oh no, I think this was live stream type thing.
Anyone else? Just tell us any company you're looking at specifically. Feel free, don't be shy. This is probably a safe space unless someone's.
You can see my LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, can.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, Naveen, tell me a nice company in Sri Lanka. Uh,
MAS. Yeah, I think you can try MAS.
MAS.
Yeah, MAS. I think. Yep.
Uh,
It's a textile company. Yeah, MAS Holdings.
cool. Okay. So that's great. See, first thing you can see is, 5,200, people. That's amazing, right? And you can see videos here, right? They're trying to promote their brand. Jobs, they don't have anything right now. Yeah. So this is something interesting. This is what I like. Okay. So you can find um, from which university they are, right? Where do they live, right? There are, so many people in Sri Lanka, so many people in, like, if you choose a, very big multinational company, you can see, which country their presence is strong, right? Yeah, and then if someone is from your own college, that's a great way to reach out to them, right? Yeah, and then you can know, who is your mutual connections, and you can, reach out to them. And then videos, yeah, this is something where you can find, and then ads, that's fine. So we can search content as well here. Like, let me try. So you can see content option, right? So I'm going to try MAS Holdings in job, in people, and then I would select content here.
Hmm.
Okay, MAS Holdings. Okay, see, there's someone who posted about it. Corporate video. So this is the video making guy who has actually done project for his client, right? What can be a better way to, like, market, right? He's marketing his brand, and he's also marketing MAS Holdings brand. Okay, what is this? Okay, we don't have anything. That's not relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there aren't much post about it. Yeah, so I'll probably pick Unilever, my previous company. So I'll say content. Okay, so there's someone who posted Unilever is hiring, and they have some positions, right? That's great. And then, okay, this is someone, who has posted about Unilever Argentina. Can we set location here? Okay, posted by me, first connections, and then, let's say past 24 hours. Okay, see, so the vice president has posted something. I'm trying to come to a place where they post about how they like it.
Yeah, employee
Yeah,
testimony is probably
yeah,
one of the best.
it's a different language, but I mean, he has done something there, and he has posted about it, right? And then,
I mean, yeah, like, answering that earlier question as well, if you really can't judge a culture from their content, you can always reach out to that employee. You can always message that person who is your alumni from your same college. Just ask him what's the culture is. So that's
yeah. So, okay, so this is something I recently posted about, about Unilever, that, I attended an online meeting and stuff. That was great. Okay.
Actually, a question
Yeah,
on that. Because
sure.
how do you draw the line actually? What sort of content should I put out on LinkedIn?
Okay. Yeah. I do have a slide on that, but to answer your question short, um, I would say, when you're posting something, you want to, portray your brand, right? Let's say you are a finance professional, you want to be talking about finance, right? Or the company you are working at, or your experience in your, as a career, as a career professional, what you have learned, right? Those are the stuff you want to speak, not that you have taken a vacation, or it's not what
Yeah,
you
I get
what you
that.
do.
But in
That's
the
quite
sense,
obvious, right? Yeah, so I would say, could be about your company, could be about your learnings, or if you have learned something on leadership, or if you had, anything on your achievements, let's say, I mean, if it is not confidential information, anything on your achievements, or if you are a student, you have done an amazing project, and you can post that, you can post the slides, you can post, talk about it. And the other great way to do is you can actually say that, I worked with this guy and it was amazing experience. So you're actually promoting him, and
Right.
in return, the next time he would do that same to you.
No, in the
Yeah.
sense, for example, like
Mhm.
let's say that you're into IT,
Okay.
so you had the choice of pretty much just like whenever you write a blog or like whenever no, like, that's the thing there, right? Do you just put
Mhm.
okay, I went and won this hackathon or something like that,
Yes, definitely,
or
if you
is
do
it
that.
or
Yeah.
is it more on like should it more be related to like your specific content itself, like stuff like for example, if you wrote a blog on like some new technology, or should
uh,
it some
it can be
video
both.
tutorial
It can be
on
both.
something? Yeah.
Can be both. Okay. The one thing about LinkedIn, it promotes only original content on LinkedIn. So if you are posting links, LinkedIn doesn't try to promote it. I'll probably show you a quick example. um, like uh, I'll show you that, this the kind of difference it has, why you should use for example, if you are good at writing blogs and articles, I would suggest use LinkedIn's platform to you write an article, uh, because it promotes that. For example, okay, so this is a post I made, probably a couple of 4 days back, and you can see the number of likes. It's 73 likes, right? And below this, I had, posted a LinkedIn, a video from YouTube. I did not even get a single like. So use LinkedIn's platform to post content.
Right.
Yeah. uh,
And the
uh,
more original and authentic it is, people like that. Apparently, authenticity is the new in. So yeah,
yeah,
the more authentic
yeah,
you are, it's more your sort of thought and your sort of factual opinions. Yeah,
yeah.
it's good.
And I have a separate slide on what to post on LinkedIn as well. I'll cover that more in that as well. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so how employers use it, we have mostly touched upon it, search candidate, advertising, validation. The other way you employees do validation is getting recommendations. I'll show you how that is done. And then assessment and selection, I'll show how that is done. And then engagement, they try to engage with the larger audience. You can actually see a lot of CEOs posting and commenting if you have and responding on LinkedIn, and then they have the whole talent pool. Okay, so this is how they assess candidates. They have the whole filtering option, so they can choose to see the different kind of people available with different experiences, different industries. So this is how a recruiter uses it, right? No, we our the one we use may not have so many filters, right? This is what recruiters get. Cool. Okay, so let's move on to the most important thing. How can you use it, right? What I will try to do is I'll first touch on what are the profile basics, because those are very important before you even do something on LinkedIn. The first thing you need to do is to have an amazing profile, and I'll show you at the end what happens if you have a complete profile. Yeah, so how can you use LinkedIn is visibility and branding, right? You are out there, it's as a professional, and you can show that what you can offer, right? And the second thing is networking. You can connect with people from your industry as well, right? And then career research, we spoke about this. You can see how different career paths people have taken, right? They would have moved to different industries and reached where they are there. It's all possible. You can see the different possibilities that can happen, right? And then obviously job search. Okay, so before we all do anything with LinkedIn, there are three questions you want to answer, right? What do you want to be known for, right? Like, if you are a finance professional, you want to be known for that, right? Because people can't remember a lot of things, right? If you're an IT developer and you are, let's say, good at making Android apps, if you continuously post about your journey, let's say you made a beta version of some app and you post about it, and the next month you do something, over a period what happens is people start relating to it, right? And the next time somebody says, let's say a company has, they are looking for an Android developer, and if that guy is seeing your post regularly, he would remember you the moment they say Android apps, right? And then who are you trying to influence, right? Who are your target people? Who are your targeted not customers, but who are you trying to influence? Who do you want to reach out, right? It's the recruiters or the hiring managers, right? Probably both, but in which specific area, right? Okay, let's say you are trying to let's say your dream company is XYZ. You want to go there, so you would try to connect with them, and you will start posting content such that those people would get to see, right? And the final way is how you are trying to influence. There are different ways. You can write articles, you can share your work, you can comment on other people's post, say, and give a viewpoint or give a suggestion. There are different ways to do it. One classic example I'll show you now is an example of a stand-up comedian. I'll show you how he uses LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is not a fun platform to share that, but end of the day, he's also improving his career, right? And I mean, in one of the interview, he actually mentioned the moment he started being on LinkedIn, he started getting a lot of corporate inquiries, and he got booked a lot of times for corporate events and stuff. So his name is Rahul Subramaniam, I think. Yeah. So this is his profile, guys. He's a stand-up comedian. He's an MBA graduate, but changed his career. So he said, "I'm here to crack jokes only, not to be taken seriously." And he sets the tone, right? Whatever he comments or makes post, it's not to be taken seriously, right? So this is a featured option. So he's using his About Us to reach out to him, for stand-up inquiries. Featured column, he has posted some video. He does a lot of activity. You can see his activity, and this is his experience. He's a stand-up comedy. He does bars, clubs, birthday parties, and public toilets. That's for fun. But I mean, I wouldn't say you to use this way, but I mean, you can see how he has become famous, right? Because he gets a lot of inquiries today through LinkedIn. I mean, who would have ever imagined that a stand-up comedian can start earning money from LinkedIn? So this is a classic example, I would say, and I'm a fan of him, so I use his example. Any questions on this? This is probably a big topic by itself. I know, but there's something to start thinking upon. Yeah. Any questions on this?
Shall I ask? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can you target influence any person or people? Any of
You
your
can't
post or
okay, so you can't really target it. It's not like creating an ad or something. I would say if you have the right connecting criteria to add to for you to connect people and also to accept connection requests, those that your whole network becomes your target. Right?
I think probably one, like, I guess, a fluke you could use is that there's an option in LinkedIn where you can follow certain hashtags. So if you expect CEOs to be following CEOs or hiring managers or whoever you want to be influenced, them to be following certain hashtags, you can put those hashtags in your post, and there's a chance that it'll come up for them. I guess at a better frequent rate. I mean, I'm not sure about this algorithm. That it's a proven thing, but it's a chance.
okay, but now the thing is, I'm not saying it's my company. Let's say sometimes your boss might not want you to see posting about articles about technologies that would want other employers to hire you, because he might be insecure about it, sort of.
That's a good point, but you can post it in such a way that this is a technology that is trending. right?
Okay.
You can say, okay, world is moving in this direction. You wouldn't want to say that your competitor is using very directly, but I think it makes perfect sense that you as a person, when you share such content, that you are always learning and you are watching out what's happening in the world, and that actually shows that you are a very curious and a person who can learn things quickly. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on? Any more questions?
Yep. Anyone else? Just
Yeah. I think I
link.
missed a part where you told about the All Star thing. What does
Yeah.
being an All Star mean?
Okay, I'll show you. All star is nothing but when you have all your okay, I have a couple of slides, all your items filled. Mine is not. The one thing I would miss is what did I miss? Okay, I'm not sure, but yeah, if you have all your stuff filled, your experiences, everything, then you get an all star profile.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
almost close, but not fully.
Okay.
I think you can
Okay.
hover over the star icon and see what's not there. I think, yeah.
Yeah, it should be there. Yeah, something should
Yeah.
be. Let me check. Yeah. So where you work currently? This is what I don't
Yes.
have now, right? I just click. Yeah, that's all. Okay, guys, shall we move on, or any more questions? Okay, so let's move on as we don't have any questions. So this is your dashboard. You can see how many people viewed your profile, how many views your article gets, how many times you're appearing on the searches, right? Uh, so if you want to appear on the searches, use the right keywords. Sorry. So when I say right keywords, let's say for example, you're an IT and Java and C++, probably now old languages. I don't know the new ones. I'm not an IT guy. So you would probably use somewhere in your profile or in your headline that this stuff. And what would happen is, when a recruiter is trying to hire someone who knows C++ or Java, so he will use that search, and then you can improve your search results by that way. And then who viewed your profile, you can see the kind of traction you are getting. So if you start commenting more, if you start posting more, and you have the right profile with all the right keywords, you can see the graph always at a higher level, right? uh, and you can see in my profile, whenever there is a peak, I would have posted an article.
Actually, another
Yeah.
question. Like sometimes you see people, some people where you don't have connections with, you
Mhm.
do see their posts because they are very popular. I guess. Are those
Yes.
sponsored by any chance, or how does it work?
No, they generally don't have sponsored. It comes because someone from your connection have actually commented or something. I can show you right away now. Uh, 1 minute. Okay, this is from a page. This is someone I follow. Okay, see here. So this is our MBA classmate. So she liked it. That's why I got the post.
So does it show
Okay.
like everything like they've liked, or is it just
It's
randomly?
probably some kind of an algorithm goes there. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, somebody has commented on this. He's someone who I follow regularly. I follow a lot this guy. So he commented. So it came here.
All right.
All right.
That and also since you also mentioned about like those certain keywords that employers are searching.
Yeah.
Um, so thing is like those how do you know which keywords to use? For example, now I had the issue when I was making my one.
Mhm.
Whether I should use should I put specifically like so they suggest you certain keywords, right?
Okay.
But my issue is I didn't know which ones to pick
Okay.
because some,
Cool.
like you can be
Okay.
very specific or be very
Uh,
generalized.
I would say both. Okay. Let me put this question to you. What is the
Yeah.
role you are looking for?
So let's say I'm trying to become a software engineer. So what I'm saying in the keywords is that I can, let's say, do programming like in Java,
Okay.
C, Python, like that.
Okay. So
So
what I would do is, I would probably look the kind of roles I'm targeting. right? And
Right.
pick 5 to 6 job postings on that, okay?
Right.
And try to identify those requirements within that, those job postings,
All
and
right.
use it in my profile.
Right.
Uh,
Because
yeah.
yeah, I've seen like a lot of my friends also use keywords like leadership and
Mm.
whatnot. Not
Yeah,
related
I mean,
leadership, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are a couple of ways you can do. For example, let me just pick up a random job to appear more on the search results. Let's say I'll pick something that's a bit related to me. Mm,
No, I'm asking here about like
yeah.
keywords that are not really job specific, like things like leadership,
I
public
wouldn't say to
speaking.
use that, because you only got a little space. So if you're using leadership and stuff, so okay, for example, if you see my title, these
Yeah,
are all kind of technical and stuff, right? Supply chain, operational excellence. But if you're talking about leadership and stuff, I would probably use it in my work experience. I
right.
would say I have led, I have delivered, I've saved, I've reduced the cost, something like that, right?
Yeah. So,
so,
so in
so
my
the
head,
gen-
for example, if they're trying to find, let's say, a good project manager for like an IT some
Mhm,
project, right? So they want someone who has that programming knowledge plus
mhm,
leadership skills. So in
Hmm.
that sense, if I was to do as what you said, like if I show an example where like in my work experience, I show that I have led projects before in
mhm.
these languages and whatnot, would that be effective or would that
I
do it?
would say first use the technical keywords,
Yeah,
right? Like your languages,
right,
because leadership is something common and everyone uses it, right? So if you probably put that on the top, it may not give you the required traction,
right.
right?
Okay,
And leadership is something that's so generic that almost every job requires that, right?
yeah,
So yeah, that's the answer for your question.
yeah.
Gautam, now that
Yeah.
you're hovering over your summary,
Mm.
yeah. So even I'm yet to write a really, I guess, encompassing
Okay.
summary. What
Mm.
would you say is like, I guess, three or four key takeaways for writing a good summary? I mean,
Okay.
what sort
Okay.
of am I
Right.
addressing? What the tenses? What am I looking at here?
Okay. Yeah, just before that, you need to have a very good profile. I'm going to touch upon that in a couple of things, but one of the things that people would look at is your photo. Have a very good photo and a good banner. Like I'm doing my MBA, so I have something related to that. And if let's say you are working in an IT industry, you would probably want to have some kind of a random image that has coding, right? Something that defines what you are. And then the headline, there's some people, I try to use keywords. Some people would say, I'm trying to, let's say if some recruiter is there, he would say, I try to help people have great careers, something like that's very catchy. And the next thing people would read about is summary, right? The exercise, okay, summary is something you want to tell a story, and then also use it to convey your key skills you have, and then some call to action, right? Call to action, I would say, if you want, like for example, if you see mine, if you want to talk about FMCG manufacturing, please reach out to me, right? So the elements would be: have a great story, what value you can bring in, and then finally and call to action, right? To have a great story, this is probably a great exercise. I would say what you should be doing is take a piece of paper, uh, from the moment you were born till date, list down all the things you remember about your life, what you have done, what you have achieved, what you have failed. Or it could be something as simple as you remember sometime your mom has slapped you, okay? So and then you would probably land up with some 100 to 150 points, right? And if you have everything together, you will see a story emerging out of it. And if you're lucky, you can have 2 3 stories emerging out of it, right? For example, what I would say is, if I'm, so I've worked all my life in Unilever, which is a consumer goods industry, right? So what I would say is I grew up a lot with my mom. My dad was working full time, so I spent a lot of time with my mom. So I used to always accompany her to the supermarkets, and I got so attracted with the supermarkets, the different colors of packaging, and it used to say, as a kid I was so fascinated by that, and I wanted to know what happens, how are these made. And that's how I would say I chose mechanical engineering. I went to manufacturing and I started working in Unilever. Isn't it a great story?
I think that narrative is probably what ties everything in.
Yes. So the exercise you should be doing this is, from the moment you are born, list down everything you remember about you in a piece of paper, right? And you will actually see a couple of stories emerging. The other story I use, if I'm going to apply, I've done a bit of safety, health, and environment as well, right? And the kind of story I would use, that I would again bring in my mom. So what I would say is, I again grew up, and I wouldn't use the story same for every person. I would use it depending on the background of that person, right? So if he's a guy who works in FMCG industry manufacturing, I will use the story I just told you. But if I'm meeting, let's say if I'm meeting a safety director, I would use this story, listen to it. So I would again say, I grew up a lot with my mom. It was, she was very empathetic person, and I picked a lot of empathy from her. And I say, I love people, I love to take care of people, right? And that's how I landed up in a safety role, right? I mean, there's a bit of other masala to it, but I'll skip that for now. But these are the different stories you want to have, and you can come up with that here. So here you would have I have a complete different story, because I'm new to Australia. I want to connect with people in Australia. So I said, and I wanted to be a wildlife expert. This is true story, guys. I really wanted to be a wildlife expert, and I grew up watching the Crocodile Hunter show. Crocodile Hunter show is done by Steve Irwin, who is a big icon in Australia, right? So the moment I use this story, that but then I would say, this is what I wanted to be, but then I was born in a family of engineers, and I ended up in engineering, and now it's too late to go back, but I still love it. And the moment I say this talk about Steve Irwin, Australians try to connect with me, right? They, when they are going to sleep, they would probably remember the story about crocodile. They may forget my name, but still they would remember crocodile, right? Because that is something they know, and I've used it as a hook for them to remember. And that is the story I have used it here now. But if I have been in Australia for next 5 years, I would change this story, right? If I am still working in FMCG, I would use my consumer goods supermarket story here.
And
Yeah.
such an important point, and probably the biggest takeaway is that any experience you have, if you have a really good narrative to it, you're going to capture that audience. And like Gautam said, at least have good 2 to 3 narratives. And this is not just for LinkedIn. This is when it comes down to networking, even in interviews. If someone just simply asks you, do you have a good leadership experience, a moment where you had good leadership experience, a moment where you expressed empathy, always having a good narrative, a story that ties everything together, you will definitely be able to capture that audience. Like Gautam said, if they won't remember your name, but they'll remember your story.
Okay, thanks, Naveen. I think,
Yeah, actually, on that,
yeah,
like, I guess the about section, like,
yeah.
the typical thing I see in a lot is that people tend to write stuff like it's just normally like a one paragraph thing with the 3 lines about like something pretty fake, like not a story per se, like a lot
Mm.
about themselves, saying that they are very perseverant and like all
Yeah,
these
I mean, yeah, using those kind of regular words isn't
wouldn't.
really attractive, right?
Yeah, so in the sense
Yeah,
that you can, yeah, my point is, so
yeah.
there you can pretty much flesh out your entire life, like not the entire life, but like that very empathetic and that
Yeah.
emotional,
Mm.
that sort of this thing you can like set out in your about section, right? Is that
Yes, yes, yes. I would say have a right balance. because I'm probably a student now, I would
Yeah.
I mean, it's a never going. You can always improve on that, right? So I mean, ideally, I would have 3 paragraphs, small ones, which like I can read it, probably in 1.5 minute, and then have a good balance of the story and also the skills you bring in.
So more or less like,
Mm.
so your CV would like pretty much reflect on what your passion is, right? So this
Ye-
about section is talking about how this, like what's the root cause behind that, all the background story behind that, I guess, is that
ye- Yeah,
usually.
I mean, if you read mine, I should be adding a couple of more points on, you know, probably a two or three lines on what value I bring in, because I'm not trying. It's just focusing on my personal side, but not on my skills. Most of the things you would read would focus more on the skills and not on the personal side,
Right.
right? Try to
Yeah.
have a right
Balance
balance,
it.
and also depends on what stage you are, right? If you are actively seeking for job, I would say have a right balance. If you're not really seeking for job and just trying to network, I would say have a little more side on the personal side.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's not personal, but I would say it's on the passion side, right? That you still want to connect it to your work and stuff. Okay, guys. Yeah, so this is, yeah, have a great headline. Yeah, and then you can say that you're open for job opportunities, and you can make it show only for recruiters. Don't make it open for all, because you do not want your boss to be knowing that. Right? Okay, so
Also,
quickly. Yeah.
is there anything you shouldn't add on your about section?
uh
You
don't
shouldn't
add
add
that I'm looking for job or something like that. Yeah.
anything. Don't should you add? Should you add personal, like anything not related to job also?
I would
Uh,
say,
like
somehow.
maybe sports you did. I mean, which aren't really relevant
Yes,
to.
yes, you can add. You can definitely add sports. For example, let's say you're a big cricket fan, you can say that. But
And that's
I would
okay.
say that's okay, but keep it short, because that sometimes people want to connect. If there is another cricket fan who wants to have a chat, he can have. So, for example, I would have written in my about, say, if you want to have a discussion on crocodiles, I'm open to chat. Right? A slight sense of humor makes you a more interesting person. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the most important thing is profile photos. What I want you to do is tell me which of the profile photos are good, and comment on the chat or speak out and tell me why.
I would say 2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, and 6. Yes, good. Any other opinions? Anyone else? We can't hear from anyone.
You can be put in the chat, guys. Anyone else?
Yeah, put in the chat. Put in the chat.
I think it depends on like what you're trying to portray. Like this guy can, if he's like a physical fitness sort of person,
So
I guess. Like if he's
yeah,
running a gym, then yeah, definitely that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. I agree. Yes, that's a good. That's a
and
good point. Yeah.
like 5 and 3 and 5, they're into traveling and they're running a travel
Yeah,
agency.
but in general, that's not the brand you want to put it, right? The other thing is, okay, I'll share this. I went to an careers fair. I met a guy, and he immediately told me, you are in my LinkedIn. Okay, because my actual face matched with the photo I had on my LinkedIn. Okay, he started the conversation because he was able to recognize from my photo, and he asked me to send my CV, but nothing happened after that. What's a different story, but I was able to connect, right? Yes, guys, 2 and 4 are great. Yeah,
I'm
even
wondering why people are missing out on 6. Any reason for that? Like
yeah,
anyone like to tell
yeah, you
us?
can, yeah, type in the chat or just speak out.
You can type in the chat as well. Any reason y'all are missing out on 6 or even 3?
Yeah, before someone jumps in, the idea is to have a photo that shows your profile, your face well, and have a white background, so that you look professional. right? If you just Google LinkedIn headshot photos, you'll find a lot of tips on how to take that photo, and have a nice smile. You look good if you have a smile, right? Yeah, good enough. Any questions on profile photos? Yeah, and don't use filters or something to make you beautiful. You want your real face. If you are meeting someone for a coffee through LinkedIn, then they do not want to be like put off. Okay, that's a different person, right? Yeah. Yeah, on the title, yeah, have it catchy and attractive. Match it for 20 characters. You can use your current role as well, or your targeted role. Like if different languages, use it, or make it catchy and attractive. Like you can say, I help people build great careers. If you are a recruiter, right? If you are a HR, or if you say you help reduce cost, you can say you deliver cost savings anywhere, or you deliver cost savings for so and so company. Yeah, you can be creative, guys. I think we have spoken a lot about summaries. Yeah, again, experiences, try to tell a story. It can be part-time, and use measurable achievements, right? You want to say it's like, if you're a student, if you have if you are let's say you are number one rank, then how would you write it? You just can't say that I was first in the class. You would say I was first among 40 people in the class by achieving centum in so and so subject, right? That makes it holistic, and people understand what's the scale. For example, if you are delivering cost savings, you would say you delivered so and so project using which you saved so much $1 million or Sri Lankan rupees, whatever it is, right? Be very specific, quantify it. People like numbers. That's like same kind of tips you use it when you're writing a resume. Same thing happens here. I would say minimize them to 3. Don't keep it too long. You do not want to give your whole job description there. If you are a finance person, if you are a finance analyst, people know what a finance analyst does, right? You do not want to state that I do financial analysis. That's like no brainer. But you want to say what value you brought to that role or to that company. That's what people want to bring. No, what is the value addition you bring into the table? Yeah, accomplishments. Yeah, you get some awards, you have built some prototypes, yeah, whatever it is, you got some certificates, use it. Education, link it to your university page. That's a great way, so that you can find out who are your alumni, which companies they are working. Alumni are the biggest first degree connections. Use them as much as you can. And I think you all have this senior junior thing, right? So if a junior is approaching me from my college, I'm always 90% of the time ready to help him. Isn't it, Naveen? If someone,
Yeah.
yeah,
And even like even in the MBA, I guess, like
yeah.
I think probably a good 50% of the first conversations I've had in Australia through networking and LinkedIn was probably through the MBA and those second years,
Yeah,
So
great.
trying to reach out those second years, getting that is probably always helpful. Yeah.
Yes. And then, yeah, you can list down your skills, list down the skills that, matches with your profile. I'll quickly show you what is it. And then endorsements, you want to highlight the top 3 most, right? Top 3 I think I would better show it to you to
Yeah,
make you
I mean,
understand.
even recommendations. Yeah, like who would you like ask it from, Gautam? Like, if you were to get a recommendation, who would you approach, and like
Yeah,
why
I
would?
I would typically get it from my colleagues or someone I work closely. But one thing I follow is I want to make sure I have a great recommendation. So I want to have someone who can write well in English. So what I did was I got recommendation from my company's communication person.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing you can do is if someone is leaving your organization, you can get from them.
Okay.
Okay, you can say you're moving, we may not meet quite often, I want to stay connected, can you give me a recommendation, right? That's one thing you can use. If you are in college, I would say if you have your project guide in your final year, once you finish your project, you can ask him to give a recommendation. Probably professors are too old and they are not on LinkedIn, but yeah, if they are on LinkedIn, make use of them, guys, right? Yeah, and then LinkedIn also has this new feature. It's probably, I think, early this year they started, where you can have the featured option. It's like in Twitter, you have the pinned tweets, right? Where you can, pin some older tweet on the top. So you can use that so that you can force people to see what you want them to see, right? So I have an award I got, and then I have a couple of articles which I want to showcase. I'll quickly move on to the skills and endorsements. Yeah, so skills and endorsements. So there are a lot of stuff, right? Lot of skills you can talk about, but you can select the top three most there and ensure that those are the ones that match to your next role. And how do you want to add this? I would say go to jobs, find your target role. Okay, and you can actually see, okay, I'll pick this operations consulting. You can see, okay, skills that match, right? So make a list of your targeted companies and you can see how many skills you match. So if I want to apply for this role, I will add all these skills in my profile and ensure that I get a tick mark here. Right? So when recruiters search for these things, your profile would come first if you have the right skills. Right? Yep.
I've done this. I mean, I've personally done this. So there's this job regarding strategy consultant. About 2 weeks back, I came across.
Great.
Yeah, as soon as I clicked on it, I saw that I only matched, I think, 4 out of 8, or was it 4 out of 9?
Yeah.
And yeah, I added in the remaining 3 or 4, and it was pretty much in my, I guess, skill set, but I have not just phrased it that way.
Yes.
And it always helps for future jobs as well. Like there could be
Right.
other posts use that hashtag as well.
Yes. So make a list of all your targeted jobs and see what's the list you want to have and add them those. As simple as that. Right. So any questions on profile fundamentals? Anything you want to ask on this? If no questions, I will assume that it's all clear or everything is clear. Okay, so what happens if you have a great profile is this happens, guys. I'm not sure how many of you know Procter and Gamble. I just had a look at this guy's profile and I did not send him any request and he sent me a request, right? And he was born in Sri Lanka. This happened probably a couple of weeks back. So he's the president of Procter and Gamble and he sent me connection request, right? So if you have a great profile, these things will happen to you. Okay, so let's move on to what to post. So you need not share your personal life, right? It's not Facebook. I think I've repeated this a lot of times, but today a lot of people are sharing content on working from home and saying and posting their kids' pictures working from home. I think that kind of talks about the culture of the company as well, because they're quite open to families and stuff. It means that they have a great work-life balance. But I would say not to share too much on personal life. If it is a learning, if it is something related to career development or an experience you share, or it's some viewpoint on a pressing global issue which isn't offending anyone, you can do it, right? And then if you're not able to come up with great posts, there are Harvard Business Review articles which are really great articles. You can reshare them, but ensure you give a small takeaway in the first couple of lines and share that link. The other thing is LinkedIn doesn't promote links from other platforms. It tries to promote only the original content. I think I've shown that example to you. So Yeah, do that. And then articles, yes, you can write articles. It takes a great deal of time to come up with them. The first article I wrote took me 3 months to come up with nice one. But if you are good at writing, I mean, I think the world is out there for you. You can do a lot of stuff. And then immediately when you post something, I would say reach out to a couple of your friends and ask them to like it. So how LinkedIn algorithm works is, immediately if it is posted and if it has some kind of attraction, LinkedIn will start promoting it, right? So having this whole community is great, right? There are around 22 people here. So I would encourage you to post your LinkedIn profiles on the chat so that each one of you can connect with each other, and whenever someone of your group is posting something, immediately give them a like, right? And finally, it's completely okay not to post, right? If you are a very introvert, you do not want to, it's fine. But over a period of time, I would say try doing it. It's more about being out there, right? So the other way you can do is, let's say if you're not posting on a public forum, you can do your networking through messages, right? Let's say you found someone, let's say Naveen has posted some great article or something. You need not comment on it, but you can reach out to him and say, hey Naveen, I read your article, it was great and I like this specific point, thanks for writing. Yeah, that's all. You can build your networks even on the messages as well. Background, you can be an introvert on LinkedIn, as simple as that.
You can be an introvert on LinkedIn, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
And
but
and
but yeah.
yeah. No, even this,
But
even like commenting or sharing, yeah. It's again your brand. Don't be, I guess, afraid if you're not an introvert and you are going to be posting. Don't be afraid to, I guess, share your opinion a bit. Let not be too controversial or it's something a topic, but yeah, share your opinion. See what your thoughts are on it. Maybe invite some engagement on it as well. So you can always try to get that conversation going online. You want people to interact with you on LinkedIn. That's how your profile gets. So if you're sharing an Harvard Business Review article, recently there was an article on the efficiency of the C-suite in a company, and so it naturally sort of triggered my thought process behind it. Which C-suite which character on a C-suite is more important? Is it CEO? Is it the CFO? So share your thoughts on it, get people to engage, and that's how you sort of get the ball rolling on your brand on LinkedIn.
Okay, one secret to be successful on any social media is only one secret, which is consistency, right? You need to, I don't do it, guys. I'll be honest with you. Try to have a target that you want to post something every week once or 2 days once, depending on the time you have and the time you want to dedicate to LinkedIn. Yeah, consistency is the key here, right? I know some people, what they do is, on the weekend they allocate 2 hours, come up with a list of posts for the next week, and all they do is copy paste and do it, right? And there are some articles which says, what's the best time to post on LinkedIn so that a lot of people watch it is somewhere around the lunchtime. People watch or probably 10 a.m 11 a.m. It's generally not good on Mondays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays seem to be good, but you can just Google those stuff, but consistency is the key. Okay, so one more exercise I have.
Actually, before that,
Yeah.
about the posting thing. So,
Yeah.
when it comes to like generally posting on LinkedIn, people like in order to promote themselves, they also like they also show that they're involved in like these certain extracurriculars also. Like for example, Rotaract itself. So, like for example, like involved in community service and whatnot. So I've noticed that a lot of people, what they do is they post like pictures of them like I know going to like places and like doing those community service activities and whatnot.
That
I get that.
yeah.
I get the part where they say that we are like I am part of Rotaract, I am involved
Oh,
in community
sorry,
service
I
and
lost you
whatnot.
as well.
Yeah, no. So, for example, someone who's saying that he's part of like someone who's
Yeah, yeah,
applying for a typical, let's say, a finance job, right?
yeah,
He can like portray the fact that he's in Rotaract and he's also
yeah.
involved in community service also, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, like so basically, some of them just put the fact that they're in Rotaract, but some people go on to the extra length where they like post pictures of them like serving the community. and so on. But it's since that part isn't necessarily part of your main thing, which is about like finance per se. Should you necessarily post stuff like that, or
Uh, I would say you can do it to a certain extent, but I would again leave it to you. Okay, I mean the classic position I am in is, I want to be what my career is, but what I do, to promote career, or what I do on tag career skills is something I don't post. It's a conscious decision I have made that I do not want to mess up my profile with two things and confuse people. But the way your point here is, Rotaract is in community service, NGO stuff, and it doesn't clash with your original profile, right? I mean, you
yeah.
you can do finance and also do community service, right? Nothing is stopping you, right? And
In a sense, my point being that if your profile is a lot cluttered with like, if
mhm,
it's would it be cluttered? That's my question. Like you have your finance stuff also. Like example, if you're going for if you're trying to be a finance manager or something,
yeah.
you have those stuff also, and same time you're cluttering that with like your road track stuff and all your other extracurriculars. Is that a smart move, or should you only stick to like your main stuff, like when it comes to posting, and just
Uh,
mention the fact that you're in like these other extracurricular activities?
I would say, have a good balance, right? Nothing is stopping you to do that. I would say, have, if you are like, say, if you do want to say you are I mean, it also showcases your leadership, right? If you are having a great role in road track, it also shows your leadership, right? It is also that also helps your brand. But if let's say, if it is just going to be about road track, people would start remembering you only for road track and not finance, right?
Okay.
I would say have a right balance. Talk about finance a bit and also Rotaract.
Okay.
Yeah, and it also depends on the timing. Let's say you are doing a fundraising for Rotaract, but probably that whole month you would only talk about Rotaract. That's fine.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But
Yeah.
then again, like if you do that, wouldn't like your most recent, is that how it works? Like, would your more recent posts be the ones which should be more visible to like an employer, or
Yes.
like?
Yeah. The most recent, but if you have a great profile page, that showcases who you are, right? That showcases that you are from a finance perspective, right? The activity you do could be a little different. That's fine.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
But those certain like posts and all, there's no way you can like prioritize those, right? In the sense, like if you want like certain posts to be like more visible compared to
That you
others.
can use the featured option where you want to showcase.
Ah,
Let's say you commented something, or you posted a great article which got like 500 likes. You would have that there, to showcase that.
oh, right.
That's the
Okay.
feature section, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, what we'll do is we'll quickly do a small exercise. Hasita has already done it. What I want you to do is send a connection request, preferably someone from your college alum, which is easy, and personalize the request. Give them something you can connect them with. If they are some from the same school, you can say, we are from the same school. I would like to connect you. I like your career progression. I would like to, seek your advice or something like that, and send a connection request. Yeah, if you have done it, let me know in the chat, or on mute, and let me know.
And guys, trust me, this gets easier as you go. So the very first connection request I sent took me, I think, 2 days, constantly just rewriting that message, deleting it. Then you know what, screw it, I'll do it another day. Yeah, eventually when you start getting into it, those messages become easy, and you always pick up on a quick few lines, you type it and you send it.
Yes, so I already have from Hasit, which is really good. So you can see, guys. I mean,
Oh, nice.
don't send me now, send me later, but yeah, use it to send to someone you don't know, right? That helps. Get out of that comfort zone.
I'm just pick out one of the big firms, like MAS, John Keels.
Yeah, and see who is the alum there, and send him.
Yeah, find it. Best thing is find an alumni. I think Asil, you're from Morato, right? There's bound to be some Morato University alumni in the big firms. Easily MAS. I think they
Yeah,
exclude.
yeah. If there are 5,000
Yeah.
employees in MAS, definitely you'll find
Just
alums.
find the guy, message him, reach out?
Yeah, because even for us, how it like due to uni also, like we always get like the speakers to like
Oh
visit
yeah.
like our seniors basically come and
Yeah,
visit us and like give us this thing. So what they tell always after session is to add them on LinkedIn, so that
yeah,
like the other peers will also see us and
great.
see our posts somehow, some way or the
Yes.
other. So
And specifically with that, when someone comes and gives a talk, right? Do send them a request, but personalize it. And just say, I want to connect. Don't say that you want to connect to it. Tell them, it was a great session. Thanks for coming to our university. And you say that I like the point you made on so and so, right? Make it very specific and personalize it so that he knows that you have, actually listened the, lecture very carefully. And then that's opens up a whole range of conversations, right? Yeah, so don't let slip those, lecture external people when they come. That's a great way to connect. I mean, recently we had a case workshop. There was one consultant who came in. I messaged him yesterday, and I'm having a Zoom meeting with him probably next week.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I told him I want to understand the process of recruiting in your company. Can you help me? He said, yeah, sure. Right. Okay, guys. I hope a lot of you have sent requests, but I did not see any messages. Can someone give me a thumbs up or yes or yeah, something like that on the chat? Yeah, and keep doing that. Can I have some questions? I mean, if you have any questions,
Hmm.
just unmute your speakers and talk. By that time, I'll keep summarizing what we have learned today. We have learned that LinkedIn is a social media in a professional setting. It's like, you're using a social network in your office. Sitting in your office, the way you talk to your colleagues is the same way you want to be on LinkedIn and talk to other people, right? That's the basic. And yeah, the difference is it's not Facebook, it's not Twitter. That's yeah. And then remember the 3 questions. Whom do you want to influence? What is your branding strategy? And how do you want to influence them, right? And have that great personal story, which really takes, it's hard, guys. I probably would have taken like, a month to come up with that. And I spoke to, I knew a friend of mine who is a journalist who writes very well. If you So I got it, written by her, so that it's nice and, glamorous, I would say. So if have friends who are good at writing English, ask their help. Yeah, someone has a question. Yeah, and then always personalize your invite. Yeah, and the other ways, once they accept your request, you can again send them a message saying thank you, and start a whole new conversation there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that is one thing. I
I
have
think
one. Yeah,
in networking, I guess one more thing I can add when we're wrapping
yeah.
up is that one recent thing I found out is quite useful is that when you're building your network,
Hmm.
it's like a web. You're there and you're connecting with multiple people.
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal of it is you want to be at the center of the web.
Yep.
You want to be the one connecting to people. So always be opportunistic in connecting others as well. So
Yep.
if you have a friend who's looking for a job and you know another friend who's working in that company as a hiring manager or senior manager, link them up. Tell them that there's a potential talent. Link them up on LinkedIn, and they'll may give you value. So you're at the center of that connection. They'll both appreciate it. So that's how you sort of gain value out of that network. Rather than just being a person in the corner in your network, you come to the center.
Yep. And you can tag other people as well, right? You see an interesting post on manufacturing, and your friend is on manufacturing. You tag him, right? You can help each other out. Okay, one last pro tip. If you want to be really good at LinkedIn, my sincere advice is quit or deactivate all other social media and just start using LinkedIn. Right? That will bring in a huge, change, and you will start, growth in your connections. You'll start growth in your engagements, everything. It'll make a huge difference.
Because practically speaking, you have limited screen time on your phone a day. You're going to be using what 4 or 5 hours. If you can at least put 60 to 80% of it into LinkedIn rather than Facebook or Instagram, yeah, definitely going to get that networking going, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yes, guys, the floor is open for questions.
And if
Actually,
you all are,
but
yeah, go ahead.
is there by any chance any anything like when it comes to so things like Facebook and even Instagram and even extremely social media like TikTok and stuff, like they've evolved over time, right? In the sense that the content that you see on it,
Yep.
it changed over like the sort of stuff you saw, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, Facebook is in a way also like kind of getting towards a professional end. So similarly, does LinkedIn also have the sort of is there any sort of trend which is going on when it
Okay,
comes to
Yes, yes, yes. I get your point. Do you have anything to add? Sorry, I jumped in quickly.
No, it's fine. That's
Yeah.
pretty much.
So LinkedIn is continuously evolving. For example, I mean, the recent features, I would say, LinkedIn now has a poll option. Probably last week or a couple of days back, they started it. So when you're posting, you can create a poll. That's the recent. And early this year, the featured option, which I showed you, that's there. And then I think there's some skill assessment, right, Naveen,
Yeah,
which you can take.
so you can, I think, yeah, you can, whatever skills you have included, if it's like Excel, it gives you a small sort of test like quiz or something, and I think it can assess you on that whether you're exactly qualified or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily that everything would be
Yeah.
useful and good. I find the featured, feature very
Mhm.
good, and
Yeah.
you can force people to see what you want them to see, right? Instead of I mean, coming back to Asel's question, if you are posting about Rotaract and stuff, people get to see the recent stuff, right? So you might distract them from your brand, but using the featured option, you can force people to see which is most relevant to your brand.
Yep.
Also,
And
yeah,
I guess, yeah, go ahead, please.
what do you think about those LinkedIn courses, online courses? Are they valuable
Okay.
compared to?
Okay. On LinkedIn, I mean, in general, I'll talk about online courses. I mean, if you are taking like something on Coursera, if you are really want to learn, if you want to learn it, learn, and if you have enough time. But I would say do an online course that gives you some kind of a professional certification. Like, if you are in IT, I would say use do PMP. If you are in manufacturing, I would say use something on certified product and inventory specialist or something like that. But don't just spend your time doing some course that is for $100 or something. LinkedIn courses, I don't know, in the premium version, LinkedIn is free. If you have time and you just have interest on that topic, if you are learning coding, then it would be useful. But I don't think so at this point. Employers are so focused that okay, you have done a LinkedIn course, so you should be good at it. That is still not the perspective. But in future, education is also changing. You might have a lot of micro credentials and stuff, having those badges. It's getting evolved.
Yeah.
So I would say spend your time wisely. Just to have a certification, don't do it. See if the certification adds value to your profile, then go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Guys, one more question. Kalani?
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, but is it to not to post videos on your other accounts as well, right? So what if your LinkedIn account is like pretty professional? Do they still, before they recruit you, do they background check your like Facebook accounts and as well? Because like but if those are like completely crazy and like if you are crazy shit, how you're doing that part, that like do they judge your character based on that as well, even though your LinkedIn account is like perfectly professional and on point before they recruit you?
Yeah. It's in the sense like is the Instagram and if your Instagram and LinkedIn accounts, is there a way those can be like linked together and like in a situation where your Instagram and employer
don't
So like,
link those. Don't link those.
yeah.
My personal advice is don't link those. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
So that they still check your other accounts, like even if they don't delete it, like they background check you on your other profiles as well.
Yeah, they might
Uh,
do that. Yeah, definitely they might check on, yeah, nobody is
I mean,
stopping,
I,
right? Everything is
yeah,
public.
I mean, I
So
can tell you from a like my the company I used to work with, the company my father owns in Sri Lanka. We definitely don't check on. We don't go outside to check off Facebook or Instagram, but LinkedIn definitely. Even if it's not included in the profile, specifically for seniority hires, we definitely anything regarding senior management or hire, we definitely check LinkedIn. But I don't think we go out of the way to check Facebook and
But
Instagram
again,
unless,
but
yeah,
again, that also depends because,
yeah,
like for
people is
example, my dad's company, like so it's the largest steel company in the country, right? So they are like when they are applying, like they have on their forms there's about like there's a specific section about social media, and like there they don't actually check LinkedIn because I think they don't know. But yeah, they do check on like Facebook and Instagram and like what you're posting. And yeah, actually, like once even asked this guy about like the stuff they post, what the stuff is posting, which was
Like
like
it's not your personality on it.
I think, yeah. I mean, my best guess on that, if someone is checking your Facebook and Instagram, it's definitely to judge your brand rather than what you do.
yep.
It probably communicates what you're interested in, what you engage in outside of work, and will that be compromising to their company brand eventually when you join? So unless it's something completely out of the blue, like you, I would say in Sri Lankan context, if I would sort of address that is, if you posted something really controversially political,
Yep.
and if they think something like that would be kind of, I guess, incompatible with their corporate culture, that might be considered a bit, yeah, a bit of a disinterest for them. But other than that, I wouldn't say anything else. Gautam, what are your thoughts on
Yeah,
this?
I think in summary, it is that nobody is going to actively be there and monitor what you are posting or something until there aren't any issues. You're fine,
Yeah.
right? If there is some issue, then people would start digging that out, right? Let's say you got involved in some controversial political stuff, and that time people would go and see what you have posted, right? In general, they wouldn't do. I mean, let's say you're going out having a couple of beers and you posted with your friends. That's completely fine. Nobody is going to make a huge judgment on that. You're having fun. That's completely fine to post on Facebook, right? But if you're crossing that line and engaging in kind of a yeah, creating some kind of a stuff that something you do not want to see you on newspaper, right? People do not if it's going to that level, I think that's where you need to stop.
Is that why you said not to focus on your other profiles, or is it just because of the time and all that?
It's because of the time, and also that I mean, focus your time where you would get the best returns, right?
True.
Makes sense, right? What is the use you're going to get if you're posting something on Facebook? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, utilize, I mean, yeah, everyone has the same limited time, so yeah, put the time where you get the returns.